Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, about 12:30. I finally hit the shop. Had a few things to do this morning, got them taken care of. I'm going to spend a few hours out here, not all day, and I'm going to get back on my blanks. I'm excited about doing some more work on those and getting those closer to being a reality. All right. I will keep you posted on the progress. Here are the first set of blanks I made. These were just for fun, just to try something out. This will open up some opportunities for a bunch of other blanks for me. But what I've got to do is square the ends of them off, and then I'm going to go ahead and prep one, and I'll get it turned when I'm back out in the shop. I think these ought to be pretty interesting looking. I can't wait to see how they look whenever I turn one of them. So you'll see that here first, so hang tight. We're going to square them up today over on the bandsaw, and we'll prep one today, and you'll see it turned on a future trip to the shop. But we're going to turn our attention back over here. You remember seeing these yesterday. I got to get them out of the clamps, and we'll start the next series of glue ups. Just did the final glue up for each half. Then what I'll do is come back when these are dry, and I'll square the two edges, and I'll butt them together. Now, I know that's not the strongest joint, but once I start cutting all the different angles, mixing things up and gluing them back together, there'll be glue all around it, pieces glued all around it, and that joint will no longer be a weak joint. So these should be kind of interesting when we're ready to turn one. What I'm going to do now is turn my attention to these blanks, and I've got a tube over here, and I'm going to work on getting them squared so that I can get one prepped to turn. I just need to make sure I square them properly because I don't want them to be too short, and we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted. I got all of my blanks squared up. I'm really happy with them. You can take a look at that. You can see that the tube is got a little bit of a lip on that end, a little bit of a lip on that end, so they're plenty long enough for Sierras. I'm going to go ahead and get one of them prepped to turn. I think I'm going to try to turn this one here with a little crack in it. This was a piece of honey locust that I had, and I don't know, it doesn't look like it goes all the way through, so I'll treat that with a little bit of CA before I do anything, but we're going to start prepping that blank for turning. Since we're prototyping this blank today, I went ahead and prepped one. I used CA for the tube as opposed to epoxy, and this was the one with the crack, and I flooded that thing multiple times with thin CA and hit it with activator, so she's ready to be turned. But before I turn that, I need to get those out of clamps and make my next glue up. Got my final glue up on this set of boards before we start doing the angular cuts. You'll notice I have clamps going this way and this way. The top blank, I keep forgetting it's cold in the shop. Normally Titebond sets up in 20 to 30 minutes. When I started cranking the clamps down, I actually separated the glue bond. So I re-glued this little section here on the side. I think it was 10, 11, and 12. I re-glued that back on there and put some clamps and aligned everything and got it nice and tight. We're going to let it set for a while we turn this blank that's on the lathe. And normally, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes, I can start making cuts. It's going to be probably about an hour today between operations because I got to let that glue have time to set. But I'm excited. The blank looks really good to this point. First cuts are complete. It's time to start gluing up. I did notice you can kind of see that glue line right there. One or two of them popped apart, so I had to kind of stick them back together. The glue is just not drying. It's so cold out here. But other than that, everything went well, and we're going to go ahead and get these all mixed up. We'll get some slices of Kamaru. I forgot what that was called. I was going to say Jatoba. That's Kamaru. Between them and get them glued back up and just keep moving forward. Just did my glue up after the first 30-degree cut. Looking pretty darn good. I'm excited about it. I got one more piece that I'll glue on at the end. It's not long enough to give me a blank by itself, but whenever I cut the other direction, perhaps it'll help me, finish off a blank and get one extra blank out of these. I'm pretty excited with how they look. We're gonna let them dry for as long as we can because obviously you know why. The glue's not doing its best. Over here on the lathe, this is one of my other blanks. It has been CA'd. The CA is dry and it's ready to be taken off of the nonstick bushings and micromeshed. I think this is turning out amazing. I had a little bit of a problem. You can kind of see the haze there in the aspen. I put a coat of CA on here before I started sanding, thin CA, and I was able to sand and that stayed nice and clean. What happened is whenever I used the denatured alcohol and it got the blank wet, it was like the Padauk was like a dye. It actually soaked into the aspen And I went back and I tried sanding again, but I just couldn't get it all out. It was so bright and so white. It looked amazing before that happened. Still looks great, but that stark white's what I'm after. So I'm making a mental note not to clean with denatured alcohol. We'll dust it off really good with some air or some non-liquid means to get it clean before we CA it. All right, I'm going to get back to this blank and see if I can't finish this pin today. I finished turning the blank, and I am very happy. It looks beautiful. Love to hear your thoughts. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. I need to get these blanks glued up again, but I'm scared to take them out of clamps and try to glue them because as I re-clamp them, I'm liable to cause them to move or slide or whatever because the glue, God, I love Titebond, but it's just, in this weather, it's just not drying quite as nicely as it should or quite as quickly. So I'm going to let it sit overnight. We'll see about tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Probably won't be out here till Friday. I should have a lot of time this weekend to get out in the shop. Hopefully by the end of the weekend, I can get those blanks finished, and we'll try to get one of them turned just to kind of show it off. I got the one I turned today. I did a quick video on it. It's going to be like a 5-6 minute video, and I'll pop it out there for you guys just for entertainment. I want to say thank you. I mentioned this table saw needing a zero clearance. Of course, you can't see it right now, but I need a zero clearance insert. And a number of you commented, and a couple of guys sent me links to a place that sells this particular insert. Now, it was really funny because I never found the place. I looked online. I couldn't find anything. These guys both sent me the exact same link to the exact same place. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I need to go ahead and place an order. I'm going to get a zero clearance. It's really cool. You actually, there's no hole in it. So you have to cut your own hole, which I need to figure out how I'm going to handle that. I need to read up on it, I guess, because I've got a writhing knife behind my blade. And of course that won't cut. So I got to figure out how you handle the situation when you have a writhing knife. But small problem to have right now. We'll worry about getting one on order, getting it in here. And that's going to make a huge difference for me. Because when I use my sled, these two pieces go together. It's like a zero clearance. But there are a lot of times where I cut thin strips and other things, and I'm not using this sled. I have another device that I use, and I need that zero clearance. So we got to get it figured out. So thank you, everybody who commented, and thank you especially to the guys who sent me the link. I do appreciate it. Like I said, that's it for me. I'm calling it quits. I could stand out here and turn all night, but I need to get in the house, and I got a couple things to do to get ready for tomorrow. So you guys have a great evening. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again probably on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.